Well, hello everybody, Mike Rondo again. Uh, Today's video is a little different. It's this video. It's shed focused, and I'll get to that in a second. I've decided, you probably can't see it, but my phone is down here. I've bent it down so it's at a level over here. It doesn't really affect things, and it's working out pretty good right now. It still kind of feels a bit floppy for my liking, but we're going with it. So, on this video, I'm going to be talking about some shed lights I got recently, and the success and the failures of that. And I'll get to that in a moment. But I'm smoking some autumn evening, and I'm smoking in my Herb Booth jack-o'-lantern pipe here. The stem, I like the color and everything, but it's very thin at the end. I love this pipe. It's one of my favorite pipes. My most expensive pipe, actually. It's custom made. But it's so thin over here. I'm so not used to it. I might put a rubber bit on and try that. Although I feel like it takes away from the beauty, but we'll figure that out when I get to it. And of course, I went with Autumn Evening tonight. I thought that was a good blend for tonight. It's a very very fall night outside in Rhode Island. It's been breezy, bit of a slight chill in the air, not the frost kind of chill, but just like, hey, it's on its way kind of reminder type of chill. But in any case, I'm going to cut to a daytime clip and then a brief nighttime clip of the lights that I'm talking about, and then we'll come back and I'll discuss the lights a little bit more in detail. But I thought it would make sense to show you guys during the day what the setup kind of looks like, to give you guys an idea instead of at night. I probably should have done a video with them in my hand and kind of show them and stuff, but I was in a rush and I set them up or whatever. And to be honest, I was a little iffy on the first light that I installed, which you'll see in the clip. I kind of explain that. But at the end of this video, I'll wrap everything up and kind of tell you my thoughts. So I'm going to cut to the first clip, and then you're going to go right into the second clip, the nighttime, which is a brief, less than a minute, I think, of me showing what it looks like at night, and then we'll come back and wrap this up. While you're doing that, I'm going to continue smoking my pipe and enjoying Autumn Evening, and hopefully this will give you guys kind of an idea if you need this, like a solution like this, as I kind of did, and I'll get into that after, but enjoy. All right, everybody, I thought I'd give you some day shots of the shed lights I'm talking about. Of course, here's my actual shed lights that are plugged in here. As you can see, I need to replace one, and up there is the solar panel, which we'll talk about in a second. It runs all the way down here. I kind of strung it up a little haphazardly, as you can see, and I put it up a little further there just to tighten it a little. I could have ran it that way and worked it that way. It's just how my crappy wiring. Maybe in the spring or the summer I'll fix this, or later this fall. I don't know. But anyway, here's the lights we're talking about. So initially, I had this light, and it did pretty well. It's really good. It's a good light. I have it on my shed. That's over yonder, over there. Sorry, I hit the camera there. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's the solar panel up there. And that does pretty well. But the problem here is this side of the shed does not get much sun, so unfortunately, it doesn't stay lit. It peters out really quick, and it doesn't hold a charge. Now, this light is the solution to that. And this one's much brighter, and that sensor actually picks me up a little closer to the, when I'm walking over here. It gets triggered better than this one. This one's not bad, but this one's a much better thing. So, as you can see, the solar plugs in right there, and it works really, really well. But I figured I'd give you guys the day shot of what that's like. Actually, I'll do this. Come back here just to give you guys a better idea. So when I'm coming out to the shed, it typically kicks off right about here. The top light, the new light that I have here. The old light would kick off right around this pole. So I got about 1.5 feet of the sensor working quicker, which is pretty good over here, because this is where the critters would come, and if this kicks off, at least I know skunk's coming or something. Don't mind my pile of dirt that I need to remove from the pool installation like 2 years ago, but so yeah, both lights are pretty good. I'll talk about it a little bit more after this. I just wanted to give you guys some day shots of what this looks like, and I'll just go back a little bit more and show you guys the wiring. As you can see, goes under there, and then see if I can give you a better view of the solar. Whoops, almost tripped. Solar panel is right up there, so it just wires in, screws in. It's not too bad, and maybe this will give you guys a better idea. If I come back here, so you can see the sun's right there. Obviously, it's not going to hit that at all. Maybe in the summer it would hit it, and it would be all right because the sun's out longer, but during the fall, winter, and spring, not going to work. So that little solar panel will get a lot of light, as you can see, throughout the day, and it works well. So anyway, that's going to do it for the day shots. I'll give you guys some more information in the shed. All right, guys, so here's what the night view is. So this light you're seeing here is the first light that I had, that I showed during the daytime, the one that's below the current light. And as you can see, I'm walking here, it comes on, it's nice and bright. So here you go, there's the difference of the two. See, this one's not so bright, it's not charged enough, and then this one's a lot brighter than that, and it picks up quite a bit. So there you go, lights it up pretty well. And the reason I got this mostly is so if I'm in the shed and a skunk comes by there, it'll go off and I'll know there's a critter around and I won't have to panic. But I'll go back inside and we'll talk about it. Just wanted you guys to see what it looks like on the outside at night. All right, well, welcome back. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what my setup is and what I was going with or thinking when it came to these lights. Again, I'll leave links below for both these lights if you're interested in them, because I think they apply to certain situations. Now, the solar light, the first light that I had, the one that's on below, the recent one, the more square one, the more fan-looking light, if you will. I bought that, came in a 2-pack. Again, when I set it up, I was like, well, going into it, and I might have said this on the channel, I was hesitant to think that this was going to work because the way the sun is and the way it travels from east to west, especially in the fall, in the winter, and even the spring maybe I might have a shot. It doesn't seem like it's going to hit it enough to charge it. Now, the caveat, and I was going to show this in the video, I was going to show the shed out front with that setup I have, but I didn't think it was really necessary. But that gets sun all day. As soon as it comes over in the, I want to say around, I'll say 11 o'clock, just going off of geometry and everything else and the time of day and everything, that gets sun. And even if it doesn't, by noontime till the sun goes down around 6:30ish or whatever now, it gets plenty enough sun to charge it to last through the whole night, and it's bright. It's fantastic, and I like that. What appealed to me when I first got those lights is the fact that there's a setting, and all of these have the same settings. I haven't fiddled with the newer one on top just yet, because I kind of just installed it and set that up and everything. So I may do this feature that, I know it has the same thing, but the first light has this dimmer light, so it's just got this little dim light on at all times, so you can kind of see things around, but when you get near it, the light kicks on and it's bright. It stays on for a few seconds or whatever. So that appealed to me, and I liked that it was just plug and play. Really, there was no wires to attach. It's a great light. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't going to work in my situation. Now, had the door been on this wall and that's where I needed a light, I would use it there. It would work perfect because this side of the shed gets a lot of sun all day, every day. It gets all the sun, so it wouldn't have been a problem. But unfortunately, the door is on this side where the sun doesn't hit it enough to charge it. So I was like, oh crap, that's too bad it doesn't work. But I knew there were other solutions out there. I'm like, all right, well I'll get a solar light and go from there. Now they have a couple of the square lights. There's various options out there. So do your homework, kind of see what works best for you. I'll leave the link for these two below if you think they'll fit your situation. And so I was like, okay, I'll go with this one, the square one that you saw, and you run the cable to a little solar panel, and it sits there. Now, I wasn't big on having that initially, but I was like, well, because I don't like it looks ugly, and I should probably fix up, as I said in the video, I should probably go back and fix that cable, because it looks kind of goofy, or maybe paint it or something to camouflage it. I don't know. I could tuck it under some of the boards that go along the way. I just wanted to get it up there, see how it works, and see if it did work and what would happen and whatnot. And I'm happy to say I think I prefer the square light with the solar panel on it. It's a pretty good light. And I was even thinking when I bought it and I'm setting it up and I'm like, this little solar panel, even if you had a shed like Northwest Piper, even Redcoats, Renaissance, Dr. Lester, if you needed a light, you could run it inside. Like this, I could run it in here and have the solar panel out there, and you could actually have some light if you wanted to do it that way. There's, I think it's a fairly cheap option to do, and it's pretty easy to install if you're looking for a light and you can't run electricity out. If you can't, I know Dr. Lester has he's got cables that run out to his shed and whatnot. And Northwest Piper is looking to have a solution. But I got to say, his lighting is fantastic, because I know in the middle of his shed, he's got that skylight kind of thing where light comes in, the natural light, and it looks great. Kind of envious of that. I got these harsh industrial, and oof, man, my eyes just hurts like looking at it. So again, the main reason, I'll go to the main reason why I got it. It's not that I needed light for that per se, coming into the shed. When I come out, I can throw the big switch on, like I did the other night. The lights from the house are on, and it's like a UFO landed in the backyard. I can see everything. It's not a big deal. But what got my mind thinking about this is the skunk incident that I had, back in the spring, I believe it was, where the skunk came over here. I had the door open. I heard a little rustling, and the skunk came over there. I didn't have much of a warning other than his scurrying and my daughter calling me on the phone to let me know there's a skunk coming into the shed. So I thought, all right, well, I should get some kind of a motion light or whatever. So I thought that was a good idea to put a motion light. So where I sit, there's a window right over here. Of course, there's a window here too. So if something came by, it would trigger it and it would go off, and I would know, okay, there's got to be a skunk, a gopher, any other kind of rat, whatever. We got a million animals around here these days, it seems. I got a mouse problem in the house I got to work out, which is turning into a fun project. But in any case, that was the main reason for it. And the other reason was for when I'm coming around the pool, and I didn't show this in the video. I did in my earlier video. I tried to record this video a month ago when I got the first light, and it was working out fine, and then it didn't hold the charge, and then I could not do that video. So I was like, it worked out in a way, because then I was able to get another light, come up with a solution for all of you guys, and we can go from there, from a jumping point for all of us to kind of adapt and figure out lighting situations if we have to going forward. So I come out, and it's fairly dark. I can kind of make out things. So this is kind of like if I was walking to the pool and it triggered, I'd know there's a critter over here and not to come into the shed. So it's kind of just a warning for me going into the shed not to bump into a skunk or a raccoon or anything like that. So, and then it lights up the door and I can come in, and it's nice. And this particular one, the square one, the newer one, the sensor picks me up slightly more than, it's a little more sensitive than the previous one that I had. So that's my thinking with having that particular light. It's not the greatest solution, but I think it works for me. You know, I could have wired in a light and everything and all that stuff, but I didn't want to do that. The easiest as it could be is the way I wanted to go. And I think this is a good option for anyone who has a similar situation, or, you know, you may have lighting like I do, like electricity and everything, and you may have a floodlight. I have 2 floodlights on the side, as I showed in the video, and that's great, but that's the side, not the door where I come in where it's dark, and you may need a lighting situation or a solution for that. You know, back before I started using the shed, that wasn't a need. I was using the shed during the day. I wasn't really out here at night. Wasn't a big deal. But now that I'm out here and we have all the sorts of critters lately, that's something to consider when you're in the shed smoking a pipe or a cigar. You have to think of the critters. And it's kind of just a warning system more than anything else. It's not so much a lighting solution. But the solar-powered lighting solution can work for someone who doesn't have the ability to wire in the electricity or run the cables into the house or whatever, or the shed, I mean, from the house or whatever. You just take that little solar panel, plug it on the roof, you just drill it in, make sure it doesn't leak into the shed or anything, just seal it up. Shouldn't be a problem. The screws don't go in that deep. Wire it into your shed, and you got a light. A couple of lights. If you could do 1 or 2 of those lights if you really wanted to. So it is an economical solution for someone who can't necessarily run electricity into their shed or whatever. But I do encourage someone, if you can find a way to get electricity in your shed, please do it. You'll be thankful that you did it. It's an amazing thing. So in any case, those little lights I suggest for now. I'm curious if any of you guys have a similar situation where you could use a motion light to warn you of critters, or to just light your way so you can see if there were said critters or whatever going into your shed or whatever, garage, to smoke your pipe or your cigar. I'm just curious if any of you have situations like I had, or if you have any other solutions, any other lighting solutions. So please leave your comments below. Let's learn from each other and go from there. So. Fantastic. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys found it somewhat informative. Again, not the most glamorous of the shed videos that I'm doing, but it's a niche. It's a need for some. It's information that I think some will find some kind of value to it. I'm curious if anyone would wire it in to be a light fixture for themselves. You got to look at it this: if you're not doing like YouTube videos like I am, or some of us on here, and you just need a light solution and you couldn't run any electricity in here, into your shed or a garage or whatever, throwing one of these on there for, I think it was 20 bucks, 30 bucks, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. Not a bad option to do if you need some sort of light just so you can see things. And I believe the light can go on permanently. You can leave it, there is a setting where it's on all the time if you want. There is a little button. I don't know if you noticed in the video itself when I was showing it during the day, there's like a little white button on the face. That's where you can set things. It's very easy to get to, easy to manipulate. The beauty is that one, it's on the front. Whereas the one previous, the one below it, this is something that you might find useful here, that's in the back, and you kind of have to move around and get your finger underneath and get it to be the setting you want. And the problem that I was having is once the charge dies down, you have to reset it each time, and that sucks. So just keep that in mind. I think it's more, I would say get the one with the solar panel. Of course, I think they have others where there's no wire with the solar panel. It's a little closer or whatever. I got kind of a long cable for this. I don't know why I went with the longer cable. When I was buying it, I was like, do I get the shorter cable where I can just run it up and just kind of leave it right there and it's only like 3 or 4 feet? They got different cable lengths, I believe. But I said to myself when I purchased it, I'm like, no, I'm going to go the extra and run it a little further down the shed because I know the light sits there all day and that particular thing where it might get a little shadier over on this side. So I went with the longer cable to get as much sun as I possibly could. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys found it informative. Let me know what you guys think and your thoughts, and I will see you on the next one.